What's up, everybody? Welcome to With All Due Respect. I am Marcus Flowers, and joining us today is our good friend Melissa Amore. Melissa is I want to say friend of the show, but that wouldn't be accurate. Melissa's our showrunner. She's our ghostwriter on our newsletter. I mean, Melissa's an extraordinary writer, jack of all trades.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome to the show. Maddie's out today with some
Yeah,
family issues going on, so we've got our good friend Melissa here. Melissa, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, Marcus. Thanks. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's been a crazy week. And
Yeah.
before we get into it, let me just get through this intro and talk to you guys for a minute. For those of you who are joining us, this is the show where we cut through the nonsense and call out all the BS and actually talk about what's going on. Not the version you get in the press and not the version you get from people who think yelling is a substitute for leadership. Every week, we bring you real conversations with real people who are in the fight, candidates, organizers, experts, folks who are not just talking about change, but they're actually out there making it happen. And then we break down the news because let's face it, the news cycle right now, it's a lot. War, politics, culture, it's all colliding, and somebody's got to make sense of it. So, whether you're here to stay informed, get fired up, or just hear somebody say the same thing that you've been thinking all week, you're in the right place. So let's get into it. Melissa,
Yes.
special week for us this week.
It is. I'm very excited.
It's people, it has been 1 year. This week is our 1 year anniversary. And man, talk about
Yeah.
how time flies.
Yeah,
You know,
I know.
in my
And what a
mind,
year,
in my mind, I'm like, oh, we've only been doing this a few months, but it's
right?
been a year. It's been a
Yeah.
year. That's crazy.
And
We launched the app 1 year ago this week. So
yeah, I think it was like actually July 30th.
yeah,
So we're right, like
crazy.
right on it. Yep, this is it.
And people, what a year it has been. We've covered a solid 365 of systematic corruption, incompetence, cruelty, and clownish behavior, not only from Donald Trump, but officials at the highest levels of government. That alone could fill a decade's worth of newsletters and podcast episodes. But we like to take a balanced approach here as well, So we've chatted with some amazing activists and candidates that are doing the work of turning things around. Real people with real experience and real expertise, but also compassion and common sense, which I'm big on. So,
Absolutely.
and these people are ready to step into public leadership roles. And, this is a time where it's desperately needed. So, some of the candidates we've had on here are amazing. And we're going to continue to do that in the year to come. And the other part of the equation has been you, our community of readers and listeners who've kept us going for the past year. You let us know every week and every day that this country is still worth fighting for. Man, oh man, let me tell you. And that's why we're here. So, as a
Absolutely.
thank you for being a subscriber to all our subscribers, we're offering a special anniversary subscription rate for the next week. Upgrade to paid subscription between now and August 5th, and we'll give you 50% off the regular subscription rate. It's our little way of saying, you know, thank you. Thank you for all that you do. And, thank you for helping us through this year. We really appreciate it. So,
I'm excited about that too because we're going to launch some new
we've got a
features.
we've got a few new features coming up here in the next
Yeah.
year. It should be an exciting year as we're growing and learning. I mean, this has been a great experience. Before I'd never considered myself like a influencer guy. This medium, I hated. I love doing things in person with people. Town halls were my favorite thing to do on the campaign trail, to get out and talk to people and feel that connection. But like I said, after a year of doing this, I've gotten I've grown to like it a bit. I'll say that.
I say you've definitely found your groove. I
I mean,
think you and
it's
Maddie too have a good thing going here, and yeah, we all love it. All of the whole team.
I hate that Maddie couldn't be here today, but
I
as I said,
know.
we're
Family first.
we're praying for her and her family, that
Yeah,
everything's all right. So Maddie, if you're out there
yeah.
watching, which you probably aren't right now, but you'll probably catch it later. We love you. We miss you. Hope everything turns out fine, and hurry back.
Yes, and safe travels too.
Safe travels. That's right. She is traveling back from out of state. Maddie and I both live in Georgia, so let's get on to the let's get to the news, Melissa. I mean,
Yeah, let's
talk about,
where do we start?
you know, there's been so much going on up on Capitol Hill this past
Yes.
week. From
Lots.
hearings to confirmations that got canceled. Why don't we start there? why, don't we,
God Blanche.
why don't we just start right there?
Might as well. Yes. Yeah.
Let me tell you, this Todd Blanche thing. Republicans of the Senate Judiciary postponed their planned vote on Todd Blanche's nomination as Attorney General last night.
Right.
I don't know about
supposed to happen today.
It was supposed to happen today.
It was
supposed to happen today.
Yes.
But you've got Senators Cornyn and Tillis who threatened to derail it because of the $1.8 billion anti-weaponization bill or fund that Trump's been trying to get through his suing the IRS thing. They specifically wanted Todd Blanche to say in writing that that's not coming back, that's gone. And so far he's refused. So
yeah.
I mean, that's
he is not budging, and neither are Cornyn and Tillis. So very interesting. Have a little GOP revolt going on there. Unusual.
Interesting. The cracks are starting to show more and more each day.
And of course, we know though that Cornyn and Tillis too, they're not coming back, and so they finally have found their backbone suddenly.
They all of a sudden found their backbone. Now I'll tell you, when that confirmation hearing was going on, I was a little bit disappointed in Democrats because I didn't feel like they were really going after him enough. I thought, well, maybe he's done just enough. And when they started asking, you had Republicans on the panel asking about this $1.8 billion fund, I was like, well, maybe there's some room here. And I always wondered about Cornyn and Tillis, and I wondered if they would be like, okay, this is our chance to exact a little bit of revenge on this administration or on Trump specifically for, primarying.
Right. For endorsing their primary opponents.
Exactly. I didn't have a whole lot of faith that they would stand up, but so far,
surprised me. Yeah.
So far, it looks like they're walking the walk instead of talking the talk a little bit.
It doesn't just feel performative this time. It feels like they actually mean it.
Yeah, it's not like what we've seen in the past with, the Lisa Murkowski's and Susan Collins of the world, who their hands and they're so concerned about something, and then they vote
and then they vote for it vote for it or against it, whatever the case may be. Exactly. And
it's how we got this Supreme Court. It's how they got rid of Roe.
That's exactly right.
You had those standouts who, for whatever reason, held out until the very last minute, and then I guess they got what they wanted or needed to see, and they voted in the interest of the administration, rather than in the interest of the American people. I mean, I've seen that time and time again, which is why I'm a skeptic on Tillis and Cornyn and as to whether or not they'll hold out. But like you said, this doesn't feel as performative as it has in the past.
It doesn't. Not to me. I think the worst ever that I recall with Susan Collins in particular was when she was after the first impeachment. I think he's learned his lesson.
Oh,
of course, Susan.
Famous last words.
No, that was the best one, right? So, so now, but did you see what Trump though said today? What he's maybe going to do about the Blanche company?
I didn't see that. I've been prepared. So, what did I miss today?
So Trump said that he will withdraw the nomination temporarily until Tillis and Cornyn are out of office in January.
Well, that's a little breaking news right here for me. Anyway, I missed that.
But This is so stupid because, first of all, he cannot get around his ego.
No.
Because, first of all, that just gives Democrats something to run on, right? I mean, that
Exactly.
just gives them more. Look, hey, and who do you have running there? You have Tallarico in Texas. You have Roy Cooper in
Yep.
North Carolina.
We've got a chance to definitely pick up 2 seats in this
Yeah,
cycle with a potential. I don't want to say 4. I do want to say
right.
potentially 3.
Let's be
You know,
careful.
I don't
But
want to. Yeah, but I think
but
we've got a good chance this cycle picking up 3
we
Senate seats.
we do. And Tallarico's. Did you see the polls that came out this week?
He's gathering steam.
He
But I'm
is.
also looking at other polls. I'm looking at how the gerrymandering and this
I know.
redistricting, this crazy redistricting cycle is going too. So
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Sure. We can't count on anything. The last thing I would want to do is say, "Oh, we got this," because it's a long way off. But
we've got a little bit of a fight on our hands here in Georgia as well. But I think Ossoff's going to be okay. So
oh God, I hope so. I love him.
Yeah.
I just love him.
He's been coming on lately. He's still got a little bit of work to do, but I think he's doing fine. So
He's looking really good. Yeah, and I think he's he's got some big aspirations there, and we'll see.
How big would it be for us to get Texas as well? I mean,
Wow.
that would be nuts. We've been talking about it for years, and
Right. To the Beto days and all of that. But yeah, no, it would be huge. And well, let's not count our chickens, right?
not going to count the chickens right now. So I say we've got a chance to pick up 3.
But we do have a chance. We do
I
have a
don't want
chance.
to go crazy and say 4, but I feel like 2, which I think that gets us back to 50-50. And then you got JD Vance, who's the deciding vote.
God. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so that's it could help. I mean, any pickups are great because all you got to do is lose 1.
You lose 1. Exactly.
We get to stall their agenda. We got to win the House. That's we have to do that. And I think the numbers support us taking back the House.
Yeah, it looks that way.
How many seats in the House? Well, that's going to be up to Democrats and how we message between now and November, whether or not we talk about the things that people really care about. Affordability. I would be pounding that home day in and day out. Your health care, child care. My wife runs a daycare center, and we were just talking about it this morning over our coffee, how some or a couple of families have said, hey, we're going to have to pull our kid out and let her stay with our parents during the day because, we just can't afford it with everything else. And,
oh, it's gotten terrible. I mean, it's just bad.
It's just, milking a daycare. And I was talking to my wife about the numbers. She was like, what was it? A year and a half, 2 years ago, we were paying like, I don't know, something like $2.30 or $2.40 for milk. She's like, now it's well above $4 a gallon.
Yeah.
And when you have a daycare with 100 and something kids, think about how much milk that is each day for breakfast, lunch, and snack times. I mean, she buys a lot of milk, so it's
right. Of course,
that adds up quickly. That's a huge expense. So, I mean, and she's taken kind of a hit on that. God bless her, but
yeah,
families are suffering as well. So, she's hesitant to kind of spread that back to the customers, and I get it, but it's tough. So
she's on the front lines of this whole affordability issue, really.
Absolutely. And that's what we need to be talking about.
Yeah,
Democrats, as far as because people are feeling it everywhere, at the pump, at the grocery store, healthcare, childcare, you name it, people are feeling it. And at the same time, you've got Blanche's nomination being held up over Trump's $1.8 billion that he's trying to steal from the American people.
That's the thing. It all connects, right? The corruption and what's happening to everyone else here, regular folks. It all connects.
You want to talk about You want to talk about being disconnected from everyday America, which he's never been connected
He's
to
never
that.
really been connected. Yeah. Except
Yeah,
maybe on a cultural level. That's about it.
so for some reason he knows how to tap into that anger on a cultural level, but he's never.
Exactly.
I
Right. But
mean, this
he's not.
guy's
Yeah.
born with a silver
Exactly.
spoon in his mouth. You know, just dad gave him millions of dollars. They
Yep.
went out and blew, and somehow people look at
Right.
him as, oh yeah, he's fighting for us. No, he's fighting for him and to
Right.
make money. The grift is on, and
It's all it's ever been.
his personal attorney Todd Blanche, who wants to represent the people of the United States, because that's the job. You represent the people of the United States. We talked about it last
Absolutely.
week. He can't stop saying, "Oh, I'm Donald Trump's lawyer," which is what he is, because that confirmation hearing was just him talking to one person, which
Hmm.
is why he won't push back on that or
Yeah.
say that this 1.8 billion
That's
dollar
why he won't sign off on that.
won't sign off.
Exactly.
He kind of
Exactly.
checked the box by meeting with the Epstein
Well,
survivors.
that's what I was going to say. That's another whole piece of this,
That's
right?
another whole piece of it. And they
Yeah.
were pissed after that, by the way.
And they had every right to be.
Yeah.
I mean, from what the women who were there, from what they said, he was just very condescending. He kind of dismissed them. And that says everything, right? I mean, he's been part of this whole sort of Epstein cover up. So,
I forget.
that's huge. He's the one that went and interviewed Ghislaine Maxwell, and then she got into a nice,
Fed.
country
Yeah.
club type prison,
It's Club
right?
Cupcake,
Yeah.
where she gets to have a dog and go out and play
Yeah.
pickleball or whatever,
Yeah.
all day
Exactly.
long.
Exactly.
It's like a
So
dormitory that she's living in now.
that's exactly right. And so he's been right in the middle of all of that, the weaponization fund, the Epstein stuff, and probably a million other things that we don't even know about.
Those redactions that I
Oh
think
my
they're
God.
report about that right now.
Well, in the Epstein files too, where they redacted the names of the perpetrators,
Mhm.
and they released, in some
The names
cases,
of the
names,
victims,
pictures of the victims.
underage victims. So
Exactly. And some of them were ones who, I mean, some of the victims are public. They've gone public, but some did not want that. They wanted to stay private, and they don't care,
yeah,
and that alone to me that right there to me
qualifying.
should be disqualifying
To be
right off the
discovered.
top. Shouldn't
Now when
even
Maddie
be.
and I audited that hearing, there was, out of about 10 outcomes, I think he's disqualified on at least 7 of them. So
Exactly. The audit you guys did was
yeah,
brilliant. And exactly right. Right
and
right off the top, there were 7 that were just no.
absolutely. I can't remember the name of the woman that was speaking to the press about going in to meet. It's Danny or something like that. Miss
Danny
Danny or
Bensky, maybe?
Danny Binsky.
Yeah.
She said that he was so condescending to her that he was like
Yep.
something to the effect of, "Is there a point in there?" or "Get to the point, lady," or something like
Yes.
that. It's like,
Yeah.
really. So
Yeah. I mean, I don't care what your politics are. Like, if you're someone who's treating a victim of sex trafficking, right?
yeah.
Like that, regardless, politics doesn't play into that. That
Shouldn't be a partisan thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
This should be common ground where we all meet. That this stuff's wrong. This is the way this should be handled. Period. Like that shouldn't even be a matter of it shouldn't even be a question. And
It
yet here
shouldn't
we
be.
are. Here we are.
And I will say this in all fairness, there have been moments where I think some of our Republican colleagues across the aisle have been on the right side of this,
Yes. Yeah. Agreed.
and then they come back to the, okay, we're going to close ranks here, and
That's the problem.
protect our hides versus, so I say all that to say, is this the moment where Tillis and Cornyn are going to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, or is it about revenge for them? So either way, it works out for us because
Right.
we don't get
Right.
Todd Blanche confirmed. But at the end of the day,
It's so cynical.
yeah, it truly is.
Yeah, it's so cynical at the end of the day.
And whether or not he does get confirmed or not, I think Trump is just going to leave him in as acting AG for as long as possible. I think,
Exactly, like he's done with so many other
yeah,
agency, positions.
yeah.
Um, that's what he does.
And that's a disservice to the American people. Full stop.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's really a loophole that I feel like we should close. I don't think it should be like that. I think you should just be able to do that.
Well,
Just, you know.
I talk about strengthening the guardrails a lot. So I think if Democrats take power, I don't want to just see in the next cycle when they get the gavels, fingers crossed, hearing after hearing. I want to see you actually putting things into place, strengthening those guardrails, writing laws that protect
Yep.
the American people, that address affordability, especially if you get the House and the Senate. I mean, Trump will do whatever he can, as far as holding things up. But there
Yeah.
really needs to be some. Yes, there does need to be accountability, but there needs to be some action as well. There needs to be true governance and
Exactly.
strengthening of those guardrails. I mean, if I'm the guy running for president in the next cycle, I'm talking about Supreme Court reform. You know,
Mhm.
I'm talking about ending these wars and getting back to something with Iran as far as what we had with the JCPOA under
Right.
Obama. I don't know if
I don't even know if
that's
that's
even possible anymore. Now
yeah,
that
at this
Iran
point.
is seen, the
Yeah.
United States is a paper tiger. We didn't completely have control of the Strait of Hormuz, and now we do
Mhm. And
because
we're
they made a
making
strategic
nuclear deals.
mistake.
Yeah, yeah, and we're making nuclear deals with Saudi Arabia and
Yeah,
but not to limit their capacity, but to expand it.
exactly.
So so much for non-proliferation.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
anybody could have told you that the juice wasn't worth the squeeze as far as going to war with Iran or
Mhm.
having a conflict with Iran, whatever they want to
Yeah.
call it.
Right.
It's not a
Right.
war that they don't have, authority to go to still be in. They play that game with the ceasefire every 60 days, so they don't have to get Congress's approval. But you know,
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
but we know, and that
Playing that
needs
little
that's another
game.
thing. That's another thing that needs to be strengthened up. You can't just say, "Oh, it's a ceasefire," but you're still having hostilities. You know, a day or
Right.
two later, the
Right.
clock shouldn't start over.
Right.
Right.
Right. It's part of the same conflict.
Yeah.
I mean, that boggles the mind that they're even able to do that, frankly.
Yeah.
Um, but again, I think when all these things were established, I people just assumed that presidents would act in good faith. We never thought that, oh, a president would actually do that.
Well, I mean, Washington did warn about despots, in the
In
first,
parties.
it's either the first or the second convention in Philadelphia. So
Yeah.
he warned about it, and
Yeah.
until now, we've never really seen it. But
No, not in this way. I mean, probably the closest we came was Nixon, I guess, right? And
at the
I
end of the
mean,
day, he did the right thing
he
by
did the right thing. Exactly.
resigning. So he still had some level of, I mean, I guess he still believed in a little bit of decorum or
Exactly.
institutions,
And or his own legacy at
or his
least.
own legacy.
Right. Even if it was for selfish reasons, at least he did the right thing.
And
Um,
also, he thought he would definitely get convicted in the Senate. So,
well, and his own party went to him and said, "This is the right thing to do.
yeah, if you
We're
if you
not
if you
seeing
let
that."
this go, you will be convicted in the Senate. So,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. And so you have a choice. Do you
yeah.
want to be that guy, or do you want to go off with at least a little bit of dignity?
I don't think there's anybody in the party this term of Trump's um, presidency that has that kind of conviction.
No.
Maybe there were a few in the first
Thomas Massey,
administration.
maybe.
Well, maybe Massey. Yeah, maybe there were a few in the first administration, but now I don't think.
I think Romney would have. Maybe.
Hmm,
Nah, maybe not. He was another one too.
He
That
was one of those
walked
guys that wrang his hands a little bit too, and
Yeah.
then went the other way. So
I do give him credit for being the only Republican who voted to impeach twice.
give him credit for that.
I'll give him credit for that. I think after that first impeachment, he was done. But you're right. Before that, he was another one that kind of
he rang his hands a bit. I'd put him in the same vein as Murkowski and Collins. I'd put him there as well.
I think Murkowski's a little better than Collins in terms of the voting record. I think that she has taken slightly better stands than Susan Collins. To me, is the ultimate just
so concerned about something, and she's right to be concerned about these things. And then you vote the wrong way.
Right.
In the exact opposite interest of the American people. And it's like, why are you so concerned?
It's like saying, well, I'm really concerned that this friend of mine drank too much to drive, but then you still give him the keys.
And you're just like,
yeah,
you're in the car with them singing shots. So,
Interesting, Keith. Murkowski has admitted she's scared for her safety.
I get that. I do.
I do too. I think that's what's behind a lot of the Republicans.
I don't take it for granted at all. The fear is real.
Absolutely.
But if you're too afraid to do the job, the American people
then step down
for you to do or elected you to do, then maybe this ain't for you.
Yeah.
I get that. I mean, being someone who's out on the campaign trail, getting death threats and things like that, people saying things about my daughters, what they want to do. I get that. In the wake of judges' families being killed and, versus family being attacked.
Yeah.
I get it. I do.
Yeah. Melissa Hortman and in Minnesota. Right.
Yeah.
And
I get it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I mean, the fear is real. It's understandable. I do get it.
But it's the job. It's what you signed up for.
But
the fear was real for a lot of us who were in Iraq and Afghanistan. Those mortars and rockets and bullets, they were coming. It was like an every morning thing. If you were at LSA Anaconda at any given time, you knew they were coming. Same with Kandahar, Same with Al-Assad, all of those places. You knew those rounds were coming in, but you did the job. It's what you signed up to do.
Oh, I don't know how you guys do that work. I'm just so amazed by the military and service members and what goes on, especially in the middle of war. And I really don't know how you do it.
But if you look at the political environment right now, they're in the middle of a war. It's
absolutely
kind of a couple little civil wars going on in each party right now, but it's what you signed up for. When you
that's the way it is.
Right hand, you swore that oath. You knew what you were getting into. So sorry if you're getting off track there, but getting back to Blanche and wrapping this up, I hope anyway that Tillis and Cornyn are no vote, or they just stall the whole thing and don't take the vote and let this thing stall out. Trump does what he's going to do. This guy remains acting AG, and we come into the next cycle and we can, get some gavels.
Yeah.
Hopefully in both chambers. So,
that's the hope right now.
That's the hope. It's likely in one and possible in another. I think that's where I think
that's probably right. Yes. The way things stand right now, like actually almost 3 months out. It's looking that way. Yep.
Yeah. We're less than 100 days right now. So we're right there. Get out and vote, people. Vote like your lives depend on it. Because it's not cliche anymore. I think we all get that.
Yeah.
Our lives do depend on it. Our livelihoods depend on it. So get out and vote. The time for apathy has long since passed. And if you're not paying attention right now, I guess they say ignorance is bliss. I disagree. I think it's just ignorance. You need to know what's going on in the world because, politics, even if you say you don't do it, it's doing you right now. It's doing you at the gas pump. It's doing you in the grocery store. It's doing you with your health care,
Everything.
whether or not
And
you can afford a home, you know.
I've thought if you could take this back 2 years ago, because you remember 2024, that campaign, the last 5 months of that campaign were just insane.
It
If
was.
you could take the headlines from right now back to that time period and say, here's where you're going to be in 2 years.
Just hold up a newspaper and say, this is what you're going to be paying for gas.
Yeah. And we're going to be in another war in the Middle East.
You think eggs are bad right now?
Right. Right. And on top of everything else, right? All of the corruption and everything that's gone on. There's been so much.
All these promises about no taxes on tips. You thought that's great. Well, guess what? There's a caveat there.
Yeah.
And it's not for long. You've been had. What were the other promises there? Besides retribution, political retribution. Going after perceived enemies, which they've done. All of the stuff in Project 2025.
Oh, absolutely, they did.
They're
well, and they were going to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse.
Oh yeah, let's talk about those Doge checks that everybody was supposed to be getting.
Yeah. Instead, they just got rid of talented people most of the time.
That's it. Killing off USAID, which is an agency that I worked for. It's made the world a more dangerous place for us.
Absolutely.
These things that people don't think about when you think about governance and the diplomacy that we do abroad through our dollars, how we, it's a way to prevent wars.
Actually. Exactly.
It's a way to prevent famine.
It creates goodwill in the international scene. And I think people just see it as, well, what are we spending money for over there? Well, here's the thing. We could be doing that and also taking care of our own people if things were actually managed well. Exactly. It shouldn't have to be a choice, that scarcity choice,
I think that one of the things that people don't understand is having money is not our issue. We have plenty of it.
Exactly.
We are the richest country in the history of the world.
Exactly.
Full stop. But we're blowing money left and right on, and I come from the defense world, so I say this and I understand fully, but we're wasting money.
Oh,
in defense, and it was my job to combat fraud, waste, and abuse. Not like what Doge did.
Right.
You came in and got your information. It was my actual job to go to those defense contractors and look at their systems and analyze them and see, okay, here's where you're wasting taxpayer dollars. Here's where we can save taxpayer dollars, and actually taking money out of their accounts and putting it back into the treasury. So we don't have, and there's an entire agency, not just me, thousands of people who did that job every day.
Who did that work. Exactly.
Billions of dollars back into the treasury. But you got this administration and Republicans in general who, talk about, when I think about what a Republican used to be, someone who was fiscally responsible, had certain red lines on, things like that. But then when you look at the data, the last 4 Republican administrations have ballooned the budget. That's 2 Trumps, a Bush, and
right.
So
it's mostly talk.
It's all talk. For all the talk about how much Democrats
tax and spend,
we don't. So we got along. We can afford all of these things that the fear mongers will say, oh, Social Security is not going to be solvent, or Medicare is not going to be solvent in X amount of years. We've got to do something. We've got to reform it. Okay, well, let's look where the money is. Let's look where it's being wasted.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You got Trump suing his own government for
$1.8
billion to give to A, him and his family, and B, criminals.
Yeah. January Sixers and various other, exactly.
Ridiculous things, and all the money he's grifted from taxpayers, going directly into his pockets. So
not to mention the crypto, scheme. He's running a whole business out of the White House while knocking it down and destroying it. And
keep your eyes open, people.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so let's move on to more news on the Hill.
Yes. So Dr. Fauci was on the Hill, right, yesterday?
Man, oh man, Shevitz, let me tell you, what a freaking clown car that was. Sitting and watching him sit for, what's the word I'm looking for here? I mean, that was, Trump likes to use the word witch hunt.
Political feud.
I kind of feel like that's what yesterday was with Fauci. And I think it was some kind of personal vendetta that Ron Paul has.
Yeah, Fauci seems like he's really just been the face of all of the sort of COVID deniers and downplayers. Like he's like the one that sort of encapsulates everything they hated about COVID. I just find it interesting that the Republicans are still stuck in 2020.
We're still talking
the election, the COVID, all of that. And
I hope it comes back to bite them in the ass that they keep looking backwards instead of looking forward to this next election.
Yeah.
With the issues that people really care about.
Yeah. They're just so hung up on that. And here's the thing, like I think that there are questions that can be asked about what happened around COVID and all of that. But
there are legitimate questions there.
Of course there are, but not to criminalize anything, but to say, okay, what did we do wrong? Where are the areas we do better next time?
Yeah.
And that's what the government should do, right? So I get that. But
the flip side of that coin
is
it was 100-year pandemic. Something that happens. I mean, the last time we saw something that bad was 1919.
Right. The Spanish flu was almost exactly 100 years earlier. Correct.
Yeah. So it was a situation that comes around once every 100 years. But here's the kicker. There was a playbook left by the previous administration addressing, here's some things or some plans that you should, implement to handle an epidemic that, turns into a pandemic.
Yeah, exactly.
They threw the playbook out when we got in there because it came from Obama's administration.
It came from Obama.
And
it's like JCPOA. Anything that came from Obama was gone.
Anything that came from Obama was bad. We're not going to do that. We're going to go our own route. And what do you know? We have a once in our lifetime pandemic that hits and, kills 1 million people, destroys families, puts the country on lockdown. And there were mistakes made. Of course, mistakes were made. I don't care what administration. It could have been Hillary in office. Mistakes were going to be made.
Right. Because they're dealing with a disaster in real time.
And so you got to make real-time calls and real-time decisions.
Right.
And,
the science was evolving, what they were learning about it as time was going on. And so,
closing down the schools, didn't like it.
Went on too long.
Didn't like it, but I think it was necessary.
Oh, absolutely. In the beginning.
I think it saved lives.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not for so many kids, but when you think about their grandparents that they would go visit who were, had conditions, because kids were spreading.
Teaching staff and stuff too. You know what I mean? Like there was still, because little kids weren't the main ones who were suffering from COVID, the most extreme, but they could still be spreaders. And, you're right. They have a lot of kids nowadays live with grandparents. That's very common these days.
We were just talking about that. Kids going to stay with their grandparents as their
that's exactly
provider.
Right. I know that
you see a lot of that.
My daughter did, my mom lives with us, and so like absolutely, like we were super cautious during COVID because my mom lived with us,
Right.
we didn't go out for like a year, until they got the vaccine. Till we were all vaccinated, we didn't do much at all. So yeah, no, I think that it was good that they did that. I think in some cases, because I do know around even near in my area, it went on pretty long. Like it did go on
Yeah.
longer than maybe was necessary. And I know that that was mostly a local call. It was dependent on your numbers in the area and stuff like that. So I'd be, I'd be inclined to say that that's as it should be. It should be a local call. But I think that that's what some parents
I think a
had
lot of
issue.
it was the local call, though, because our school system, when they decided, okay, what they first did was, you do school online,
Yes.
and
Right.
then they went from that to, and this is just the school system that I was
That
in.
yeah.
They went from that to giving kids and parents a choice, at least definitely at the high school. You could stay online and attend class, or you could come in. Then it went back to,
Oh, okay.
full attendance. So they kind of phased it
Nice. That
back
was
in.
smart.
Yeah.
That was really smart. Yeah. Well, and
Because there was still a lot of fear at the time when they started doing that. So some
yeah,
parents weren't comfortable sending their kids back yet.
right.
Others were chomping at the bit to get
Yes, they
kids
were
back
dying to
in
get the kids back.
school.
Right.
So,
Right. Right.
that was kind of a compromise that happened in our community. So until the next school year, everybody was back.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's interesting. And I didn't have my daughter's was actually in college when COVID hit, so it was a little different. She had to do remote school from home, had to come back from
Yeah.
campus and all of that, which kind of stunk. But I do remember with my nephew, my he was in probably fourth or fifth grade at the time, no, he was younger than that. He's probably like third grade, something.
Right.
But it was the same deal. They did kind of a hybrid sort of almost
Hybrid
thing,
situation. Yeah.
and then, but if they were in school, they had to wear a mask, and then there were parents that complained about that too. So there was nothing was perfect. It was
It was
tough.
everything. I mean, the grocery stores had their things where you
Yes,
had to wear a mask. But again, these were decisions being made on the local level. And
the local level,
I
right?
say that to point out, like you said, Fauci has become that boogeyman
Yes,
figure, that lightning rod around COVID that Republicans use to,
yeah,
again, this doesn't make sense to me because we're looking backwards. We're looking at 2020
right.
when you've got Fauci testifying July 29th in the year of our Lord 2026 about something that happened 6 years ago,
Right, right.
because you still want to get him, because you still have this vendetta, and you're saying you want to put him behind bars. Because why? Because we can't get over 2020. Trump can't get over the 2020 election because it
Well,
was
and
stolen from him, and he can't get over
yeah,
COVID.
it's like they can't move on. And here's
So
the
my thing
thing.
is, there's a lot of blame to go around there.
That's exactly
Right
what I was going to
at
say.
the top.
Let's remember who the president was in 2020.
Exactly. Least we forget, Trump was the
Yes.
president. This was his administration. And if we want to talk about the dangerous stuff, Keith, pull up a clip. Trump's had a whole lot of dangerous stuff back in COVID. Keith, let's pull that. Let's run that clip of Trump back in 2020.
Thank you very much. So I asked Bill a question that probably some of you are thinking of if you're totally into that world, which I find to be very interesting. So supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light, and I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting. Right, and then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number of the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting to me. So we'll see. But the whole concept of the light, the way it kills it in 1 minute, That's pretty powerful.
Look, I'm not laughing because this is funny. I'm laughing because it's so fucking ridiculous. And this is just one example of those briefings that he did daily, daily COVID thing where he went out and said a bunch of dangerous stuff. Meanwhile, you got the doctors and the experts and Fauci and everybody who can't sink low enough into their seats listening to this man up at the podium put out a bunch of dangerous information. Let's remind people that people were listening to this stuff. People were dying because of things like ivermectin, and somebody tried bleach, I believe. If I'm not mistaken. Somebody did the bleach thing.
That's exactly right. And there was a couple I remember who used ivermectin that they had pills they had for one of their animals, their pets.
Yeah.
And
that's the ivermectin I'm talking about, the horse deal one, not the stuff that you
like I think there are human uses for ivermectin,
yeah.
but they used the animal version of it and it killed them because it's a different formulation or whatever.
Exactly. So
these
are the kind of dangerous things he's putting out. And let's just remember, he's the president of the United States. Yes, Dr. Fauci was the head of infectious disease, but he worked under this president. It was his administration.
Right.
And Trump, you couldn't keep him off of Twitter, putting out dangerous information.
Yeah.
So if we want to talk about people actually dying, let's start with, the dangerous things that he was talking about and, his response to it, the administration's response.
Right.
Were mistakes going to be made under any administration? Yes. Are some of these questions fair to ask? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, valid. The origins of the virus.
And where it came from. Did it start in a market? Did it start in nature? Those are valid questions.
Absolutely. Or did it start in a lab? I think that's what they're looking to get at. That it was something that
market, the lab versus nature,
connected to Fauci in some way. Right.
Yeah. Right. So trying to pin all of it on Fauci just seems a bit too cute by half. If you ask me.
Yes, I would completely agree with you on that. Yeah.
And looking for a way, Rand Paul's words, we're going to put you behind bars, so they're looking for something. And people are making a big deal of him pleading the fifth, as is his right under the Constitution, doing it more than 100 times. Yesterday was a circus. That's what it was designed to be, give Republicans something to distract from, I don't know, the Iran war, affordability, people, what they're paying at the pump. And
the real issues that are happening. Yeah, right now. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. No, I think that Fauci's probably also looking at the way that this administration deals with anyone that it thinks of as an enemy. And somehow Fauci, of course, is one. And so he's not going to go on the record saying anything that could be used against him, not necessarily because it's a crime, but because it's something that damages Trump's ego in some way. And so can you blame him? I don't know. I mean,
I can't say that I blame him. And look, I don't begrudge anybody pleading the fifth. I mean, I didn't do it when Trump pleaded the fifth on, was it more than 400 times in some of his depositions?
Yeah.
But we all know he was pleading the fifth because he was guilty. Whereas Fauci's situation, he's pleading the fifth because, he knows this is political theater.
It's bogus, and he's trying to protect himself. Yeah. Yeah. And I get it. I mean, we're not
kicking his lawyer out, setting the tone that way. That just tells you, that's what it was designed to be. It was designed exactly for those senators to have their moment on Fox News, or the one, I can't remember, was it Reno? Is it Who the Fuck Do You Think You Are?
Yeah, that's becoming like the thing now, who can drop the F-bombs.
That's the kind of decor in a sense on a podcast, but, a party of decorum. Well, they haven't been for a while, but so.
And who was it? Was it Josh Hawley? I think it was Josh Hawley
Oh,
too.
Holly, yeah.
Didn't he bring up, he said something like, oh, well, if you're innocent, you wouldn't plead the fifth. Like, can you imagine the
Really?
nerve of saying that when the president you support has pled the fifth? What, like you said, 400 times? Is that right? I don't
Hundreds
know.
of times.
Yeah.
Hundreds of times.
It's like the gall is unbelievable. I guess they just assume that people aren't aware of it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
mean, even before that, Trump made the same made a similar statement. Well, if you're innocent, you don't plead the fifth.
Right.
So
Go figure.
He's also a convicted felon. So,
Exactly.
where's his credibility?
Yep. Exactly.
But yeah, again, to be fair, yes, there are some questions that can legitimately be asked about.
Of course.
Not January 6th, but
no, there's questions about that too.
There's a lot of questions about that.
A lot of questions there.
But about COVID, there are so many legitimate questions that could be asked there. But that's not what yesterday was about. Not at all.
Yeah.
It was about getting sound bites and getting hits on cable news, and just getting something that they could fundraise off of, and to distract people, most importantly, from everyday life, what they're dealing with right now,
from what we're all dealing with. Exactly.
Because of this administration's ineptitude.
Yeah.
That's really what it was about. Yeah. So
ineptitude, and I would say, and corruption too. I think it's all tied. It's all it all wraps together, because look at the money that Trump Jr.'s making off of the Iran war too. You know what I mean? So it's all kind of part and parcel of the same thing.
It's all a big grift for them.
Yep.
Yeah, really. That's really, in my opinion, Trump's biggest thing. The Project 2025 stuff aside, because he's not the one that's really behind all of that.
That's not his ideology. Yeah, he doesn't care about that.
Right. He doesn't care about that stuff.
No.
And that's sad to say. He doesn't care about it. But you've got the Stephen Millers and the
real ideologues,
guys, ideologues who are out, implementing all of this stuff, and at a rapid pace.
Yep.
They're doing it quietly, people,
yeah.
with the help of, Republican members of Congress. They're doing it quietly.
Yeah.
Trump's more concerned with the grift.
Absolutely.
He's more concerned with how many golf trips he can take to his resorts, and how he can rack up those fees on the Secret Service members staying at his resorts, and Bitcoin, and doing things for
all of it. Yep.
Jared and Don Jr. and Eric and Ivanka, so that they can make billions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars. That's what he's concerned about.
Mm-hmm.
The other stuff is just what he has to do in order to make that his real goal happen. Exactly. And that's my opinion.
Oh, I think you're absolutely right. I think that he would have jumped on with any political movement that adopted him, into it. It just so happened to be that it was sort of right-wing populists were the ones that he, targeted, and that bit, because he was a Democrat for years.
He was a Democrat for a long time.
Exactly. And the Democrats, by and large, kind of kept him, kept him as far away as they could. And so once he realized who he could con to get power and to get money.
Yeah. That's the way he was going.
I don't think he actually really cares.
That tells you what's important to him. It really does. So
Exactly.
Everything else is, this is just what I have to do in order to continue the grift. So,
yep.
And that's me speaking. That's how I feel. That's my opinion. And it'll be hard to convince me of otherwise, because the record, if you just look at the data.
Exactly. The numbers bear it out.
Yeah. If you just look at the data. And speaking of retribution, I think Trump might have stepped in it with this Jim Comey thing, and DOJ going after
the seashells,
after him on the seashells case.
The seashells, yeah.
He might have stepped in it. I mean,
Well,
what thing?
Yeah. So Comey, right, earlier this week. Hold on, I'm going to that story here. Here it is. So he says that the DOJ had Secret Service surveilling him, right? Spying on him, basically.
No, they were pinging his phone. They were following him. All kinds of stuff. So, I mean,
I assume warrantless.
Yeah, definitely warrantless.
Yeah. And then the agents, according to Carol Leonnig, the agents were briefing Trump personally in real time as this was happening.
Yeah.
So literally
Trump was calling for it.
Right. And there's no wall at all between the president and the DOJ.
Between Main Justice and
no independence at all.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's one of the things about when you go after someone and you're trying to prosecute them on some bullshit, they get to do discovery. This would have been a great segment for Maddie to be on because she's a lawyer. But
yeah, right. The legal exactly aspect of it
is they get to do discovery. Their lawyers get to go,
of
and try
course,
to get this information. And you've got people in the Secret Service saying, telling the truth under oath, which is shouldn't be any surprises there. That's what they're going to do. So now this stuff is starting to come out, and this was all about retribution from the beginning. He's had, for lack of a better term, hard on for Comey from day one.
Day one, right?
So even though one could reasonably argue that he's only president of the United States because of Jim Comey. That's
what I was going to say. For a very brief period of time, he actually really liked Comey because of the Hillary Clinton stuff. But then once Comey okayed the Mueller investigation, forget about it. He was dead to him at that point. Yeah, it was the end of it.
You're not my friend. So, and I'm going to do everything I can to destroy you. And they're still looking backwards, still going after, foes from the past instead of
from years ago. Yeah.
Instead of being focused on the American people, affordability, kids getting into college, getting a good education.
Yeah.
People being able to just put food on the table.
Have a decent life. Right. Live a decent life.
Pursue happiness.
Exactly. I like that. Our founding documents talk about pursuing happiness.
Yeah.
And everybody I know is fairly miserable.
Right? You can't do that if you can't afford to eat. It's hard to pursue happiness on an empty stomach, people. Yeah. Let me tell you, I've been there. I know. It is very
it's miserable. Yep.
So
that's absolutely right, Marcus.
And I'm just the whole 86-47 thing was, I thought it was ridiculous because I've heard that term 86 somebody. I thought it was like a baseball term or something where you're like,
it's a kitchen term.
Was it?
It's a kitchen term. Do you ever watch Kitchen Nightmares with Gordon Ramsay?
No.
They say it all the time in the kitchen. They say, 86 the burgers, 86 the flounder. We're not using it tonight. That's what it means.
It means get rid of it.
It means get rid of it. Yeah. Like we're take it off the menu. We're not having that tonight, whatever. And
that's what he said, that his wife used to be a waiter, or Comey said his wife was a waiter, and that's what she thought the term meant when they saw. So that's interesting that they didn't even put the shells down there. They just came upon it.
They came across it
and took a picture of it.
And posted it online.
And
they're saying that it was an assassination threat.
I think that all came from Rudy Giuliani, who was saying, "Oh yeah, he's Comey was a mob prosecutor, and he should know better that 86 means kill somebody." I never thought that.
I
didn't know it was a kitchen term, but I thought it was like a baseball term where it's like, okay, get this guy out of here. 86, and he's
interesting. Maybe it has been used.
I think that's the first time I ever heard the term used. Was watching a baseball game where they were talking about 86 and something.
Right. So pull the player out of the game or
pull
whatever.
Him out. There was the pitcher, of course. They're like, okay.
Of course. Yeah, exactly.
He's screwing up the game for us, or he stinks. Get him out of here.
Right.
I think
they didn't mean they were going to.
That's why I thought it was a baseball term. I think that's the first time I had ever heard it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So
Let me tell you, they can't get out of their own way. But,
No, they cannot.
you know, I think
cannot.
to say it was frivolous in the first place, you know, I'm hoping a judge just kicks it out based on that. But it being vindictive and, you know, like you said, selective prosecution,
Yes.
it's also showing that DOJ and Trump were doing illegal things. So I think this comes back to bite them in the ass, big time, big time.
Yeah, I mean, I
Trump
hope
take the
so.
fall
It
for
should
that.
be a bigger story, I think.
Yeah. So
I haven't seen a ton of people talking about that story, and I feel like that should be a bigger story.
was this still under Bondi's DOJ, or I think she was still in when this all came about.
That's a good question, probably. I would think so. Because she was in till what? February, March, something like that. Right? When did Blanche? I think she was out.
Was it March or April?
I don't remember. I'm looking it up.
I'd have to.
So I'm guessing.
News moves so fast.
I know. I know. I lose track of it. April 2nd.
April 2nd. Yeah. So I mean, I can't remember.
I'm guessing this happened under her.
Oh yeah. I think there should be consequences because of it. I mean, this is malicious and it is
Consequences. Marcus, that's so sweet. Consequences.
Consequences. Yeah. Like I said, when the next House and Senate come in
I hope
January,
so. I hope so.
you know, strengthen those guardrails, do the work for the American people, but get some accountability. You know,
well, and
you should
that's
be able to walk and chew gum at the same time.
Exactly.
Do all of those things.
And you see it happening in other countries.
Yeah.
Where South Korea, remember, they took care of that. Boom. He was done.
Out.
Like so many other countries, you see how they handle it. And it's like, yeah, look at that.
Why can't we do it?
It can be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be. You just have to have that courage or your conviction. And, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
That's one of those things.
Yeah.
We'll see. Wow. That was a whole hour, Melissa.
I can't believe it. It went fast.
We're over our time.
Okay.
Over our time right now.
Well, I know you have to run, so I don't want to hold you up too long.
I did have a heart out. I am going to be late for my next thing, but it's okay. I'll be fine. You know, I do have family that will cover down for me when I'm, you know.
Gotcha. Well, that's good.
That's
good.
So yeah. So everybody, thank you for joining us today. You know, this is some crazy times that we live in. You know,
indeed.
If I can leave you guys with one thing today is, you know, we're in a moment where we've got a chance to really change the trajectory that we're on right now. You know, it feels cliche. You know, it feels like regular campaign speak when I say, you know, vote like your life depends on it, because it does. Guys, it really does. You know, these midterm elections, this is a chance to stop some of the dangerous stuff that's going on right now with this administration. You know, we can get the House, great. If we can get both the House and the Senate,
even better.
It's a higher hill to climb, but we can do it. We've got a chance right now, and it's up to you and me and all of us to get out there and vote and talk to people. You know, have those conversations. You know, meet people where they are. If they don't do politics, just meet them where they are. Have those conversations. Ask them what it is that they're feeling now, and then try and explain why you're feeling some of that right now. Approach it from a place of compassion, because we're all in this together at the end of the day, and we're all feeling it the same way. I know I am. You know. So,
that's exactly right.
Yeah. So until next time, people, I want to thank all of our paid subscribers and our subscribers alike. If you remember, for the next week, if you subscribe to With All Due Respect, you get 50% off for the next year. We do have some exciting things coming up. We appreciate all of you, and thank you, and Godspeed, everybody.
Thanks, Marcus.
Thanks.